Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to hashtag Feedback Friday, brought to you by ProWrestlingTees.com, our great friends over at ProWrestlingTees.com. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Hero, and on this show we talk about your comments and your comments on our broadcast from last week, and also our comments or your comments on Twitter. Yeah.
Where's my trophy?
I don't know.
I show up, I look all over the studio, it is nowhere to be found.
Well,
what a bunch of nonsense.
If it's so important to you, why don't you take care of it? You should be traveling with it much like it's your championship.
I can't. It's so humongous.
Well, it's important since it's about as significant as the $1 Million Championship. So.
And a lot of people want pictures with that belt. When you see Ted DiBiase at all these conventions, of course it does.
Who'd you ever beat to win the $1 Million Championship? Nobody.
It's a $1 million
Just like
belt.
Who you beat to become. Or to have that ridiculous trophy.
If you want to compare my trophy to the $1 Million trophy, fine. It is now a $1 million trophy.
I'm not comparing it. I'm saying it had as much significance as, which was none.
Why?
I don't know where your trophy is. I don't care where your trophy is. I hope we never find your trophy because your trophy's a joke. And PWR is the most watched wrestling talk show on YouTube with over 13 million viewers since 2006. And we welcome all of your comments on our videos. So let's get to some of those comments left on last week's episodes of Feedback Friday and Primetime TV. First, this one comes from Garrett Jadola, who says, and I quote, "The problem I have with Adam Rose is while he's going to be entertaining, he's already looking like he'll be a full-fledged gimmick like Santino within 6 months. The man has great talent, but with the way he's been introduced on the main roster, he doesn't seem like he'll be worth anything more than a comical character. Bummer. Must be a lemon, not a rosebud."
First of all, Santino is more than a gimmick. He is highly entertaining.
He's a gimmick.
But he's fantastic. Santino is a guy that has survived.
Who will survive?
But Santino Marella has. And
you don't like Adam Rose?
I don't know him not to like him. I just don't care for what they're doing with him.
So you agree with what the comment is?
I don't know if he'll be anywhere past mid-card come December.
Okay.
I'm not sold on it. I just don't. Once you get past all the shenanigans that comes to the ring, like the village people on crack, whatever you want to call them, all the rosebuds, let's see how his in-ring ability is going to transcend. I just don't see it.
David Jobert says, and I quote, "As far as the Daniel Bryan Danielson talk goes, my name is also David, and here's my opinion." See what he did there?
Sure. But he doesn't get paid for his opinion. That's
I don't think they're booking DVD week. I think it's way too soon to even make that assessment. WWE is doing what they can because, one, there really is no top heel that's ready for a real world title program, not one that anyone wants to see anyway. And two, so many circumstances. He got married one week, father died another week, and I don't know yet if the neck surgery thing is an angle, but if that's legit, it's a big obstacle. The WWE is biding their time, and the Demon Kane is a fine fill-in until the time is right to throw DBD into a real program. Hashtag Nelson Family Rules.
You know what's funny? Nelson Family may rule, but he stole my DBD gimmick. So that's fine. But at the end of the day,
well, you're nothing more than a gimmick.
It is about making money in the wrestling business. And if Daniel Bryan cannot perform, if he's out for 2 months, that belt's coming off him.
I don't know what Bree had to say about that.
Well, Bree doesn't say much about anything.
The surgery was the injury was legit.
Yes.
Nerve damage.
Yes.
Surgery occurred yesterday.
Yes.
He has come out of that successfully.
Yes.
We don't know how long he's going to be out, but it seems like it'll be up to 3 months.
Well, you know what? And then he's going to be off TV for 3 months. That's a long time in wrestling.
Hello, Ziggler. And finally, Jeremy Thomas says, and I quote, "I don't agree with Lana being the hottest diva ever. Trish Stratus and Candice Michelle, just off the top of my head, are far hotter, but to each his own. How about judging the divas by their in-ring abilities as well? How about Chyna, the most dominant diva ever? Chyna, WWE Hall of Fame 2015? She should have been in years ago."
Well, she's not going to be in. I mean, the way she left the company.
Did you ever think, who's more likely to go into the WWE Hall of Fame, her or Jeff Jarrett?
Jeff Jarrett.
Really?
Absolutely.
Wow, that's saying something.
Here's why. Because Jeff Jarrett wasn't dating Triple H when Stephanie came by and did that.
To the point of Lana, I will say again, Lana is the hottest diva in the history of WWE.
And that means you want to, what? Is the word coitus? Is that what they call it?
What does that mean?
Let me get my Google out.
There's a difference between hot and beautiful and gorgeous.
So hot means you want to tap somebody, right?
Yes.
Is that how it goes?
Absolutely. And without even having a number.
Okay.
Beautiful means maybe a few dates. Gorgeous means that's probably the one.
So you don't find Lana gorgeous?
I find Lana hot.
Wow, you're a whore.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to
Oh, please. This should be interesting.
I would like to be the better man here and go ahead and take that insult and leave it there. Because you know, oh my God, you know what I could do. Yeah. Yeah.
I think Elizabeth is beautiful.
And judging divas on their in-ring ability, how many of you do that? Let's be real here.
Not many. Because listen, most of them are already very attractive to begin with.
Right.
And let's not forget, the announce team programs us to find them to be attractive. They
Yes,
do.
because when they're wrestling, they're laughing at them.
Well, no,
did you
but
talk
they're-
Alicia Fox down off a ledge yet?
I'm so proud of her. I am. Finally. Alicia Foxy has that attitude I knew she had deep down inside.
Why'd you know she had it deep down inside?
Because we've chatted. We've talked.
Thank you for your comments on YouTube. We still have many more of your comments coming to us from Twitter, including what you loved and hated this week. That all coming up next, right here on Feedback Friday, brought to you by ProWrestlingTees.com.
Visit our friends over at ProWrestlingTees.com for the latest and greatest wrestling t-shirts at awesome prices. You can also find the official PWR shop where you can get the all-new Nelson Family or the Super Friends shirt as well. ProWrestlingTees.com is your home on the web for the most unique and entertaining wrestling tees.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Feedback Friday, brought to you by ProWrestlingTees.com. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Hero. And each week, ladies and gentlemen, on Twitter, we give you the chance to tell us whether you loved or hated one of this week's moments in wrestling. And this week, we draw a thin line between love and hate over the alliance formed between MVP, Kitty King, and Bobby Lashley last night to end Impact Wrestling. That segment, which saw Lashley attack Eric Young and was the end of last night's Impact,
Here comes the nation of domination.
Here are the results of our poll on Twitter. 78% of you hated that segment, while 22% of you loved it. I would venture to say most people who hated it didn't even watch it, because it took a lot of work to get to that point in Impact last night. Let's be real.
I watched all of Impact Wrestling last night.
All 2 hours of it.
All 2 hours of it.
Did you really?
I did, because I thought I owed it to our audience.
I'm sorry, it's just funny to hear you doing anything for the audience.
I
Go ahead.
do. I wanted to make sure that the new girl Rebel is all the hype that surrounds
She held
her.
that position for quite a while.
She's very
Is she
good.
hot, gorgeous, or beautiful?
I think she could be all three.
There's no such thing.
Depends how long the weekend
That's
is.
weird science kind of women.
It depends how long the weekend is. So, Kenny King and MVP and Bobby. It reminded me of when Triple H and Kane and somebody else would come down the ring and beat up, Daniel Bryan. It's almost kabuki-ish, very familiar.
Great Kabuki is not in that group.
And Bobby Lashley is a great talent. And if he's going to be the heavy for this threesome, he needs to get attitude. He needs to get fire. Kenny King, obviously, he has the fire. The way he ripped his shirt off to end the show and, jump all over Eric Young. Did you notice how when MVP was bringing Eway out to the ring, he was hanging him by his tie over
I
his...
did not notice that.
Yeah, it's little things like that. You got to wonder, that's interesting. So it's, I don't know.
A few of you went on to explain yourselves further on Twitter, and at Edward22J said, hate? That stable is brilliant. And at Btron3030 said, not sure about Kenny King, but always liked Lashley and MVP. And finally.
Oh, Jesus Christmas. Are you serious?
What?
This last comment.
This is what someone said.
They're an idiot.
You should listen. At Swiss Carver said, and I quote, if you hate this group, you're racist.
Of course. Yep, that's what it is. Why? Why would I be racist if I don't like the group?
One man's thoughts on Twitter.
He shouldn't be on Twitter.
We'll be polling you again.
You should get like 23 characters, not 140.
Well, that would be fantastic if the characters in your tweets were limited to your level of intelligence. A lot of people would be stuck with 10 or less.
I'd get 500 then.
Still a cap of 140. We will be polling you again next week.
Stop. Hold on a second. If you don't like the group, it's because you're racist?
I think it was tongue-in-cheek.
No, I don't think so. Because there's a lot of idiots on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and Tumblr and LinkedIn and all those other social media sites that feel that way.
That's why you only need Twitter. That's all I follow.
Amazing. No, the reason why people don't like it is because it's not going to work.
We'll be again polling you next week, so be sure to follow at PWR Show on Twitter so your voice
about that.
Can be heard. We also received some comments and questions from you on Twitter, so let's take a look at those now. At Southern Siren said of WWE Raw, and I quote,
so if it's because you don't like the Divas division or Knockouts, does that mean you're gay? Because it's
no,
women?
it means you don't like women.
Exactly.
So Bree stands at ringside grading a match while her husband says, I need neck surgery. Hashtag shitty wife.
Right? I hope he has a prenup.
At Giga Totones says, at Alicia Foxy made herself tonight. Hashtag tremendous. Referring to, of course, Monday night, her little tirade.
You know what? I hope that, I'm not wrong. I was right about Husky Harris becoming Bray Wyatt.
Just took years.
But people have to grow into their character. And Alicia Fox proved
grow into their character. Husky Harris and Bray Wyatt are two entirely different characters. He didn't grow into a character. He's got a new character, came back.
He grew into the Bray Wyatt character.
Go ahead, carry on.
And Alicia Fox has that fire. She is a tremendous talent.
At John422002 chimed in on our discussion of the hottest diva ever and said, and I quote, hottest ever out of Miss Elizabeth, Sunny, or Lana. Each one has their own place in each era. I couldn't pick one. Really, that does sort of sum it up.
It does. I'm going to be with Sunny this weekend, just so you know.
I'm sorry, one more time. You're going to be with Sunny this weekend?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Okay. What'd you call me earlier in the show? Keep those tweets coming in and be sure to use the hashtag PWRTV in your comments. And thank you so much for those comments. And big congratulations go out to this week's winner of a free wrestling t-shirt from ProWrestlingTees.com. And that's a follower on Twitter, at Southern Siren. Congratulations, you are the winner. The t-shirt on Twitter. We'll be hitting you up via DM to let you know how you can redeem that prize. Thanks for your comments, and we look forward to giving away another free t-shirt next week. But before that, tomorrow night, it's PWR Primetime Television at 10 p.m. Central, online and on My24 Milwaukee, where we bring you our thoughts on the Daniel Bryan situation, several more releases from TNA, and the new WWE TV deal that was announced just yesterday. Thanks for tuning in to Feedback Friday for that one.
This one.
Damian Nelson saying we'll see you again tomorrow night on Primetime.